Well, after 18 weeks of craziness, we've arrived at the playoffs. In just 4 weeks, only one team will remain, and I promise you it won't be the New York Giants. Let's get into this week's picks. Welcome back, everybody. Whether you can believe it or not, it is time for Wild Card Weekend this weekend in just 3 short days from the time of recording. And Week 18 was a bunch of nonsense as we expected, but a crazy finish. People getting fired left and right. That poor kicker from the rookie from the Ravens. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has another chance at glory after almost walking into the sunset, leading a fourth quarter comeback. And then, hey.
The legend of Aaron Rodgers grows.
Speaking of the Giants, I mean, we won Super Bowls because of kicks going wide right. So music to my ears to remember those great times over 30 years ago. But we're going to get into 6 games, just 6 games left for this week, starting with Saturday at 1:30. This one we talked about right before we turned the cameras on. The LA Rams are at the Panthers. Panthers making the playoffs with a losing record. And right now, the Rams are 10-point favorites on the road, which is by far the biggest spread of Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah, that sums it up. A 10-point spread in a playoff game when the home team is a 10-point dog. That tells you that the NFC South has been pretty terrible this year. Okay, so the key factor here is going to be Davante Adams. I mean, he's been down the last couple weeks. He is expected to play on Saturday, so that'll be a nice bump, seeing how he's been the Mr. Touchdown. Puka Nacua, Mr. Social Media, is having a monster season as usual, and the combination of those two definitely could be deadly in this matchup. Matthew Stafford, who, old bone Stafford, is rekindling his career this year and had a great run that basically almost like an MVP type run, really. And he's definitely in the hunt for that as well, although I think Drake May is going to probably get the nod most likely. This team, Bryce Young, he is a happy addition to the team this year with Tetaroa McMillan, though, rookie wide receiver standout that has been great for this team. They are a young team. Rico Dowdle was a good addition. This team just, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how Carolina did it. I mean, they had some huge victories this year. And if you remember, they did beat the Rams in the regular season. So this is a crazy game, okay? It's one of those games where it seems very cut and dry in a lot of ways, but I'm not so sure. This is a game that I personally would probably just sit back because of the spread being so high, just leave it alone. But in this situation, I feel like the Rams' defense is just too good for this mediocre offense of the Carolina Panthers. And I think this Rams' offense, especially with Davante Adams, is going to be too much. And there's too much opportunity for a blowout potential. So I'm going to roll with the Rams. We're going to take the Rams minus 10. It's a big spread in the playoffs, but they're going to get it done on the road, traveling East Coast, West Coast to East Coast. But 10 points is not enough. Carolina gets sent packing. They're done for the year. 8-9. Rams boom.
Rams boom. I like that. All right, let's talk about your big matchup on Saturday night with the Packers at the Chicago Bears. Again, we looked at the spreads right before recording. It all depends on where you look. Some people have the Bears favored by 1. Some had the Packers favored. Some were as high as 1.5. It's very close. So obviously check where you're betting. We are taking the line with the Chicago Bears at home -1.
Yeah, it's a big game. Is Rome Odunze going to play for the Chicago Bears? He's sat out now for quite a while, and in hopes that he'd be able to make a comeback for the playoffs. Will he? There's not a lot of chatter on it. You're going to probably it's going to probably be a game time sort of decision, or maybe even by Friday they'll find out. They definitely need him. The man who was huge against the Packers, DJ Moore, having the big touchdown in their last matchup when they won in overtime against Green Bay. He was pretty silent last week in a big game with Detroit. But luckily, even though they lost to Detroit, Philadelphia lost as well. So the Bears kept their number 2 spot. And this Bears team, they hate the Packers. I mean, that's the coach.
You guys have a little dislike for the Bears as well.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
The coaches hate each other, and this is going to be a very contentious battle because both sides just don't like each other. It's been like that forever and ever. That's why it's the black and blue division, because they literally probably would beat each other up if they could. Caleb Williams is having a great year. He fell short of the 4,000 passing yards, though. So the Bears have not had in 106 years a 4,000
Wow.
yard passing quarterback.
Were they keeping stats 106 years ago?
Yeah, it's 106 years, I guess. I don't know. So, DeAndre Swift, he's going to be a key factor. They're going to need to get their running game going against a defense that Green Bay, as of late, have kind of struggled. They gave up a ton of yards to Derrick Henry and 4 touchdowns, so that was brutal. So DeAndre Swift and Monangai are going to be a huge 1-2 combo that if they're going to get anything going offensively. Because the last game, if you remember, they really were anemic until, the onside kick play happened and basically overtime where all of a sudden the Bears poured on the offense and got some stuff done.
Any concern with Jordan Love not having played 2 games?
No, Jordan Love, he cleared concussion protocol. He's good to go. Obviously it's a concussion, so it's internal, right? So it's not like it's a bone issue or a tendon issue. So he should be good to go and healthy. The key is going to be Josh Jacobs. He's been kind of limping around and dealing with this injury now, this knee injury for 5 weeks or more, and it's really been at detriment to the team's running game. They have not been able to get the running game going whatsoever,
Yep.
which has been a big problem. Christian Watson, though, he's a guy that is going to come up huge. They need him big time. He's their big play Chicago Bear killer. Literally, Christian Watson crushes the Bears. This team all around, down Micah Parsons is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Down Tucker Kraft is really brutal. But I think their defense, they signed Trevion Diggs from the Dallas Cowboys when they released him. So there's not one, but 2,
Like the
former
home for wayward Cowboys.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Green Bay now.
The Cowboys are seeing the light coming to Green Bay. So take that, Josh. Your Cowboys still suck. And huge game in Chicago. Everyone's going to be energized. What's going to happen? I think this Green Bay offense is going to come out hot. Okay, they're going to come out hot. I don't really believe in the Bears defense. I think they're mediocre at best. And their offense, was pretty anemic, especially last week against the Detroit Lions. And the Lions are a pretty poor defense.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Well, Caleb Williams is a big moment. It's his sophomore season. Came down to Ben Johnson, in his press conference when he got hired by the Bears. He's like, I kind of am going to enjoy beating the Packers twice a year. Well, he should have been 0-2 this year, but he split 1-1. And here's the rubber match. But guess what, Ben Johnson? It's not going to happen. Take the Green Bay Packers to the bank. Yes, to the bank. They're going to get it done. I'm going to catch some grief saying I'm a homer, but guess what? I'm not. The Packers should have won the last time around. They should be 2-0 in the season. They got the Bears' number. Bottom line, Jordan Love plays the whole game and doesn't get knocked out like he did last time. The Packers go on. They win the game. +1. Take the underdogs in Chicago. The Monsters of Midway are going to fall hard. Bye-bye. Boom.
All right. Then we got 3 games on Sunday, and I think that's a big game, but I think the next 3 games are kind of huge. And some surprises here. Let's go with the 10 a.m. game, though. Buffalo Bills are actually on the road at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars team that I think surprised a lot of people. Maybe not those in Jacksonville. They probably expected this, but Bills are only -1 on the road. As again, one of the teams that went into the season, along with the Ravens, how'd that end for them as the proverbial Super Bowl favorites?
You would think the table is set for the Buffalo Bills. Okay, you got no Lamar Jackson in playoffs, no Patrick Mahomes, and no Joe Burrow. Literally, you would think the runway is clear, right?
Yeah.
But not so fast. All of a sudden now you have, Drake May, probably the MVP. Bo Nix, doing pretty well with a great defense behind him. And Trevor Lawrence, a man, the first 4, 5, 6 weeks, you're thinking, man, this is this Jags team. They're not it. And basically, Trevor Lawrence is playing the best football of any quarterback the last 5 or 6 weeks. He is off the chain. I think the addition of Jacoby Myers has been huge for this team. This coach has got them playing hard. He's bringing a new recipe of football to Jacksonville. I mean, I really think that this team is super solid, and the future looks bright in Duval County. Duval.
No,
So it's
don't do
like,
that.
it's wild. So bottom line, Josh Allen, how healthy is he? He didn't play last week. His ankle did kind of, he's been nursing a little banged up ankle and stuff, and his running and normal Josh Allen stuff isn't, going as well the last few weeks. James Cook, they've been leaning on him, but yet they do not have a receiver. They have a young, rookie in Keon Coleman that keeps getting, being actively scratched, and he's sounds like having a lot of issues in the, missing
You mentioned that before, yeah.
team meetings, stuff like that. And they've been searching, and they really, had high hopes for him when they drafted him. This team amazingly cannot get a receiver for Josh Allen to throw to. No one is stepping up. Shakir, none of them. They brought back Gabe Davis, and that's the big problem right now. Can Dalton Kincaid, assuming he's going to be playing, can he be the factor? Because of that and the fact that the Bills' defense has just been kind of meh, I'm going to give the nod to the home team. We're going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars +1 home dogs to get it done. I think that their run game's good with Travis Etienne. I think that, since they got Jacoby Myers, he's a great addition to Brian Thomas Jr., and their defense is looking really solid. I think Josh Allen, believe it or not, with the table set to make a run, they're going to fall in the wild card weekend. Take the Jaguars to get it done, +1. Boom.
Crazy to think about picking against the Bills, but as much as this plays into it, I think all the momentum is on the Jaguar side.
100%.
Like they're playing top notch, like you said, football, and the Bills, which kind of bit us in the butt in fantasy football, have been up and down. You don't know which team you're getting, and so many having to come back from 21-0 down.
Yep.
What's going to happen if Jacksonville gets out to a lead like that at home? So,
Yep, exactly.
well, that will take us to 1:30, and this is a game with question marks about these teams. The 49ers head to the Eagles in Philadelphia, and I mean, how brutal is that swing? Win that game last week, you take a week off, you don't play the Eagles, you have home field advantage. Now instead, you're playing an extra game on the road, starting in Philadelphia, the defending champions, who are right now 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah, San Francisco, they've had an easier schedule. When the season began and you look at their schedule, the groundwork was there. Obviously, you didn't assume that all these injuries would happen to them, but their schedule was setting up nicely that they, should had a good path to win a division. Things changed. They lost, Fred Warner and Bosa on the defensive side. They lost some of their offensive weapons. Purdy went down, and Mac Jones stepped up big for them, though, and kept them in the hunt. And all, the table is set. Sam Darnold came through. I mean, He actually won a big game after last year, crapping the bet against Detroit to lose the number 1 seed.
And he's now had two back-to-back 13-plus win seasons.
Yeah, he's amongst 4 or 5 quarterbacks that have gone back to back.
And they were 5 big names in there, yeah.
Yeah, Favre, Rodgers, Manning, and Brady.
Yeah.
So, not Mahomes, by the way. Boom. So, here we go. I mean, the problem is San Francisco's defense, right? But their defense did shine last week. But the problem is their offense.
They could get nothing going.
Their offense against formidable, good defenses, they can't do anything. Some of these defenses that were, they were opportunistic against that weren't good, they lit them up. But San Fran couldn't do anything against Houston. They couldn't do anything last week against Seattle. And now they're playing a Philly defense that Philly's been Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Offensive, on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. So now they're in Philadelphia. I actually was talking to a fan yesterday, and I tell you, those fans are fanatical. They literally
sure.
are the definition of fanatical. And this game is going to be interesting because George Kittle, he should be, good to go. He's going to be a key component in this game because he is a guy that's been pretty outstanding outside of when he missed a week because of his ankle injury. A.J. Brown, the man who's, he begged for the ball for a long time, and he's been getting it, and he's been doing really well. Saquon Barkley, definitely an off year for him. He's definitely had an off year, and he's going to be integral in this part. Him and McCaffrey doing the battle, 2 of the best running backs in the league. Jalen Hurts has been up and down on the year. Purdy had been great since he came back until he got worked over hard last week and did nothing. So what's going to give here? Is it going to be the home team, getting it done, as Vegas expects at -4.5, or is San Francisco going to rise to the occasion and play good enough defense and get that offense fired up enough to make some good things happen? The 4.5 points seems like too many points. I feel like Vegas got this one wrong. I think this line even could possibly go up, maybe to 5, but keep an eye on it. But I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers +4.5. I like the points. I'll take the road dogs in this case coming in to Philadelphia. Granted, it is a warm weather team traveling to the cold confines of Philadelphia where Santa Claus gets snowballs thrown at them. I think it's a reasonable expectation that this San Francisco team could definitely be an upset alert and win this game outright. But 4.5 is too much. Look for it to be a close one, +4.5. San Francisco, boom.
And these are definitely tough matchups to imagine, especially with how some of the teams looked up and down the last couple of weeks, right? Which team shows up. Well, the Sunday afternoon game at 5 p.m. is the Los Angeles Chargers heading out to the New England Patriots. Patriots are back, and they are 3.5-point favorites at home. This is a big one. Whichever team loses, it's a tough loss. Two definite teams that could compete here.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh, he's a great coach going up against an equally great coach in Mike Vrabel. Both these guys are going to have these guys prepped and ready to go. Justin Herbert still nursing that broken hand situation. We'll keep an eye on that, but he did have an extra week of rest in Week 18. I think that this team, it's going to be huge. You're looking at a battle of characters. You got Drake May, probably the MVP, versus Justin Herbert, the prototypical 6'6" beast of a quarterback with a great arm. He's got 3 stud weapons at wide receiver. And this team, now you have Omarion Hampton. Jim Harbaugh loves a running game.
Yeah.
And Omarion Hampton is having, when he's healthy, he brings a whole new dynamic to this team that Jim Harbaugh wants. Try to control the ball and play defense. The Chargers defense has been solid this year. The problem is their offensive line. When Big Joe Alt went down with an injury at left tackle, their rookie, that was a big issue. They've lost some other players since then. Their offensive line has been the problem. We saw when a team that has a good rushing package like Houston and other teams play this team, it's disaster. Justin Herbert can throw the ball, but if he can't get off of his back, he can't complete passes. And that's the big factor that's going to come into play here. On the other side of the ball, Stephon Diggs, he has some issues right now off the field, being criminally charged with some pretty heinous acts. We'll see what happens, how that plays out. Is it a big distraction for this young team in New England? I think that they're going to stay focused regardless of that. And the big key factor is going to be at the running back position. You got rookie Travion Henderson from New England that is outstandingly talented. And then you have the veteran Ramondre Stevenson, who's not fumbling the ball this year as much. He's solid, and it's a good 1-2 combo. They complement each other really well. But it's going to come down to the offensive line of the Chargers. And for that, I'm going to take the New England Patriots -3.5 to get it done at home. I just think that this Charger offensive line is going to be problematic, and I think New England's defense is just too good, and they're going to take advantage of that. The Patriots get the cover, -3.5. Boom.
All right. Well, last week, this team was flexed to the Monday night or the Sunday night spot, the last game of the week. The Pittsburgh Steelers get it again. They are at home against the Houston Texans. Texans are favored by 3, and one different kick. This could have been the Ravens, and I think a whole different game. So does the Aaron Rodgers possible farewell tour end here, or does it continue?
Well, here's the big thing. DK Metcalf really cost this team big time.
Yep.
These last 2 games, they lost to Cleveland. They almost lost to Baltimore. They definitely could have used DK in both these matchups. Somehow, they survived. Now, and that's because Aaron Rodgers cobbled together a win with a couple tight ends. MVS, who's been on like 5 different teams, and just he was gritty. That's all you can say about it. Literally, yes, it took a missed field goal to get the win in the end, but Aaron Rodgers, let's not forget, drove the ball down the field late in the game
Like in a minute
to get a touchdown to win the game. All right, I mean, essentially the game-winning touchdown. Got the touchdown to take the lead. Boswell misses a extra point, which he never misses, to set up the table for Lamar Jackson to drive down and get the game-winning field goal. Well, it didn't happen, as we saw. Now,
quite a few games this whole year were decided by field goal kicks and blocks and returns and weird.
Yeah,
you guys were the victim of one of that too. So,
yeah,
but
it's been a weird
kickers.
year.
You got one job. Come on.
Yep. I mean, they're making 60-yarders, but I guess 37-yard extra points are problematic. I feel bad for that kid. It's crazy. Baltimore fans, a lot of them, and it's not all of them, but they're like going on the guy's social media and threatening him and his wife.
Yeah,
and it's
it
like
always happens. It's
bunch
so disgusting.
of sickos. So, guys, anyone that gets in the chats and does that sort of stuff, you are a joke and you're pathetic. That's the bottom line. Leave these people alone. My God. But here we go. Nico Collins is going to be key for C.J. Stroud because C.J. Stroud has been definitely the definition of ebbs and flows, ups and downs, because he's been terrible, but he's been good. But he's going to need to get the ball to Nico Collins to have any kind of offense for this Houston team. Their running game is pretty stale, but that defense is savage, and that defense is what has been winning them games all year long. They were able to win games with Davis Mills because that defense is that good. Not taken away from Davis Mills, but hey, that defense, no matter who they played, set it up and they knocked them down. Jalen Warren's going to be a key factor for this Pittsburgh team. They're going to have to get the run game going. Kenneth Gainwell is kind of like the Christian McCaffrey of the team. He's a great pass catcher, but he also is a key cog for special plays. They're going to look to him big time. Aaron Rodgers is going to be running for his life in this game, though, because this defense, he's going to have to get the ball out fast, because if he does not, he's going to be on his back quite a bit. And look to them, look for the Steelers to try to, do some quick plays and get the ball out as fast as possible. But in the end, it's in Pittsburgh. The terrible towels are going to be out. But this Houston defense, which has been outstanding all year, is going to continue to be so. We're going to take the Houston Texans -3 to get it done. They're going to get it done on the road. The Aaron Rodgers fairy tale story is going to come to an end. I believe he's going to play next year. I think that this team feels good enough about their situation, and I think Aaron Rodgers will probably play one more year. But we'll see. It's going to be a hard loss. Houston moves on to next week. Boom.
What happens to Mike Tomlin if they don't win? Does Aaron Rodgers come back if Mike Tomlin's gone? Is he going to go with a new coach?
No. If Mike Tomlin's not there next year, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers just leaves. But I think Tomlin will be back most likely. I mean,
it's tough, right? Even a winning record, and
he's never had a losing record, but
and
he's managed to I know the fans. I mean, they were calling for him to be fired. Now they're winning games. I don't know. I think he's going to be back, but in the NFL nowadays,
Raiders have an opening.
Mike Tomlin come to the Raiders. You know what? I would welcome that change. He has a tough brand of football.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
All right, well, that's all 6 games for Wild Card Weekend. The Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos, obviously on the bye. We'll see how that affects them, possibly, whoever they match up with in the next week. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to be here for the last 2 weeks after this and for the Super Bowl. And we'll be looking at some props as usual, I think.
Yep.
Have some fun in that week off between the Super Bowl and 6 months of nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe we're here, but just a few more weeks of football, and it's off to the off to the off season. So it's been a great year. It's been a roller coaster. This year's been the most unusual year that I've ever experienced. I mean, a lot of weird anomalies. It's been a tough year for making picks, and we're keeping on grinding, putting in the work. All right, until then, guys, we'll see you next week. Take it to the bank. Boom.